Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our friends, family, faculty, staff, honored guests, and to my fellow graduates. My name is Toiba Ayankumbi, and on behalf of the class marshals for the class of 2026, I am honored to welcome you to Class Day. This is the first time that our class has gathered together like this since our orientation. So I'd first like to take 10 seconds to invite my classmates to stand up, turn to a neighbor, and let's celebrate this moment together. Thank you. Thank you. And let's bring that energy in as we return to our seats. Thank you. Class Day is a moment of transition. We've gathered to reflect on what brought us here, what shaped us here, and what we will take from here. And I want to draw your attention to the greatest gift that we received from Harvard Law School. Not a doctrine, not a framework, not even the degree. It is each other. It is you. It is the connections we built with one another, the conversations that challenged our assumptions. It is the moments that reminded us how much there is to learn by listening closely, not only to be heard, but to help others feel heard too. That has made us not only better advocates, but better custodians of one another's humanity. We each carved our own path. We have each been on distinct adventures, shaped by different questions, callings, and commitments. But what unites us is that in our own ways, we have all been stewards of this community. And that stewardship demands something of us, which is that we remain connected to the people and experiences that shaped many of us long before we first walked through home's field. Long before we received the privilege that has now been bestowed upon us. So, let us leave this place more willing to stand with those the law too often keeps at a distance. More committed to using what we have learned in service of those who need it most, and more devoted to becoming agents of change in the pursuit of a more just world. Let us remember that the measure of this education is not only what doors it opens for us, but what doors we help open for others. May we carry forward the best of what we found in one another. And finally, may we leave Harvard Law School not only proud of what we have accomplished, but prepared to be worthy of the responsibilities entrusted to us. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our dean, the Morgan and Helen Chu Dean and Professor of Law, John Goldberg. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
I'm good. Yeah. Thank you, Toiba, and welcome everyone. It's great to be here to celebrate the Harvard Law School class of 2026. and to recognize today's honorees. I'm delighted to be joined on stage by your class marshals and by Patrick Healy, recipient of the inaugural Dean's Community Impact Award, who also happens to be a class marshal. The Honorable Yvonne Campos, President of the Harvard Law School Association. Meredith Boak, our Associate Dean for Academic Programs. And Monica Monroe, our Dean of Students and Associate Dean for Community Engagement, Equity, and Belonging. As you know, we've had to make some adjustments to our program, and that's not fun, but it takes nothing away from the loveliness of this day and the specialness of this occasion. That said, I do want to take a moment to recognize the extraordinary work of this year's class marshals in helping to get us to this wonderful moment. They have met all challenges with grace and a profound commitment to you, their classmates, and to our community. Please give them a round of applause. In a moment, we'll be celebrating graduates who are receiving awards, but first I want to take a moment to recognize our graduates generally. I'll be brief. That's because I won't be brief tomorrow. Today, I just want to express my admiration and gratitude for all of you for everything you've brought to HLS. You've worked really hard. You've mentored. You've counseled. You've supported your fellow students. You've teamed with faculty on cutting-edge research. You've skillfully represented clients and have generously donated your time to people in need. I am so proud to be here today to acknowledge all that you have accomplished. I could go on, but as I said, that's for tomorrow. So let me just say for now, congratulations. It's now my pleasure to present the very first Dean's Community Impact Award. As I mentioned, it goes to Patrick Healy. Patrick, please stand. Turns out that Patrick and I go way back, all the way to 1L Tort's class and my first year of deaning. In class, at Admitted Students Day, and in a host of other settings, I have seen firsthand Patrick's authentic interest and concern for others and his remarkable ability to build connections. Patrick, everyone in the class of 2026 and everyone who has been a part of our community for the past 3 years has benefited from your generosity, your diligence, and your thoughtfulness. Thank you and congratulations. And with that, I will turn things over to Gabriella. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabriella Mestre, and I am deeply honored to serve as one of your class marshals for the class of 2026. Standing here today feels both surreal and deeply meaningful. Reaching this moment required a whole life's worth of persistence, of hard work, and of sustaining a relentless belief in ourselves, even when the circumstances demanded otherwise. For many of us, this day represents something much greater than our individual accomplishments. It represents the countless sacrifices and risks that made this journey possible long before we ever stepped foot on Harvard Law School's campus. This degree is not ours alone. It is the culmination of the hard work of the families, the loved ones, and the communities that have supported us, believed in us, and sacrificed alongside us every single step of the way. As the incredibly proud daughter of Cuban immigrants, As the incredibly proud daughter of Cuban immigrants who fled the communist, repressive Cuban government on a raft with my 13-year-old sister in search of a better life for our family, I know what it means for opportunity to be built on sacrifice. My parents are the hardest working people I have ever met, and they left behind everything they knew with the hope that one day their family could have opportunities that they could have never imagined for themselves. And I know that so many of us here today carry similar stories, stories of families overcoming hardships and generations placing their faith in the belief that maybe one day education could change the trajectory of one's life. So, in this moment, as soon-to-be graduates of Harvard Law School, we are living the realization of those sacrifices, that perseverance, and of all of those dreams. That is why it is an honor for me to introduce someone whose story reflects those same values of resilience, sacrifice, and perseverance, the Honorable Yvonne Campos, President of the Harvard Law School Alumni Association, the oldest alumni organization of its kind. Judge Campos grew up understanding what hard work meant. When Judge Campos was in high school, her family owned a tortilla factory where she would work alongside her parents during her summers. It was difficult work, the kind that teaches discipline, humility, and determination long before any professional title ever could. Those lessons stayed with her throughout an extraordinary career. A graduate of this amazing law school, she went on to serve as a federal prosecutor, to work in private practice, and to serve as a state trial court judge. But perhaps what makes her story so meaningful is not simply her impressive accomplishments, to which there are many, but what they represent, the extraordinary places that sacrifice, persistence, and education can lead us. So please join me in welcoming to the stage the Honorable Yvonne Campos.
Thank you. Gabby, thank you for that introduction. And 2026 graduates, on behalf of more than 40,000 worldwide Harvard Law School alumni, it's my privilege to welcome you to the Harvard Law School alumni ranks. Congratulations. As Gabby mentioned, my name's Judge Yvonne Campos, and my middle name is Esperanza, which means hope. And it's been my privilege to have graduated from this institution, to have come here just over 40 years ago to start my own HLS adventure. As graduates, you and I share life experiences as HLS alumni. Whether sitting in Langdell, Austin Hall, the Hark, completing Ames, or learning to think like first-rate lawyers. Over the decades, I've returned for reunions, which the law school will host for you every 5 years. I've returned to teach in trial advocacy workshop and to reconnect with friends. I hope that each of your Harvard Law School affiliations will remain as long-standing and as rewarding as mine have been. Indeed, I've had more fun as an alumna than I did as a student. So keep that in mind, folks. So you may ask, what is the Harvard Law School Association, HLSA? As Gabby mentioned, it is the oldest association of its kind. It was founded in 1886 during Harvard's 250th anniversary. The first association alumni elected Judge Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. as president, and our mission is to advance legal education, to promote the interests of Harvard Law School and to foster good fellowship amongst its members. Think of us as the social end of your law school experience. We are there for you as alumni. The HLSA is made up of geographic clubs and shared interest groups worldwide. Our activities range from CLE, continuing legal education lectures, to attending sporting events, touring courthouses or museums, and holding picnics with family members. It is a volunteer association. If you're ready to join and participate, we have a spot for you. Harvard prides itself on training leaders. If you're ready to lead, we have a spot for you. Most importantly, your HLSA membership is free. Let me repeat that. Most importantly, your HLSA membership is free and lifelong. Many of our events are free. You are automatically members as our alumni. And if you ever find yourself out of touch, please visit the law school's website, update your contact information, and then you'll get notice of global alumni events. Folks, you join a long list of alumni, presidents, prime ministers, partners, professors, justices, judges, authors, nonprofit business leaders, elected representatives, stay-at-home parents, teachers. Each of you will offer something to better our world. However you end up utilizing your Harvard Law School degree, prioritize your lives, leave room for activities outside your work. There will be much more to your life than just the law. Guard your time and your souls. Your professional reputation will always be all that you have in a profession that is built on trustworthy counseling. I welcome you with open arms to the Harvard Law School Association, your HLSA. And I hope that one of you will have the chance to welcome the class of 2066 in 40 years' time. Best wishes and congratulations. You're the best. Just show up, make yourself useful, and get along well with others. Congratulations. I'm now going to welcome Freya Haas.
Dear class of 2026 and honored guests, last May, just at this time, when the flowers started to bloom, as they are today, for about 200 of the graduating students, it seemed very unlikely that we would be here today. As international students, sitting at home on our own, we did not know if we would be allowed to come to Harvard. There was nothing we had done wrong, and nothing we could do to change it. Our future was totally out of our hands. That now feels like a long time ago. Class of 2026, we made it. But I want us to hold on to this feeling, that feeling of completely powerlessness, not understanding the legal system. This is a feeling many of our future clients will know, regardless if you go into a law firm, work for an NGO, or for the government. Understanding and wielding the law is a privilege and a power most people will never possess. Personally, I experienced this before I even thought about going to law school. The summer after high school, I went abroad working as a waitress, and I wasn't paid what I was due. I did not know the statutes. I did not know the system. It was a foreign country. And I didn't know who to turn to. This feeling of being completely powerless and clueless is the reason why I went to law school. I'm sure many of you can remember how it was to walk through the doors of Langdale Library for the first time and being confused about concepts such as jurisdiction, res judicata, and mens rea. We will leave Harvard literate in a language most people will never learn. My hope is that we remember this when walking on our new paths. This year's Susan Richardson Prize goes to someone who has made it the foundation of his career to help people navigate the legal system. As a clinical instructor, John Salzberg has been described as the heart and soul of Harvard defenders. He is now retiring after having spent 45 years representing people who cannot afford legal counsel and who feel utterly lost when confronted with legal institutions. John has also been the mentor of countless fortunate students, giving advice on everything from complicated legal matters to how to make the best matzo ball soup to cure a cold. And John is with us here today celebrating. John, please stand up. Please join me in congratulating John.
Good afternoon. My name is Felipe Lobo-Kuric, and it has been an honor to serve as a class marshal for the class of 2026. As a gay Latino immigrant, a proud native Brazilian, and a naturalized US citizen, I'm only here on this stage because of the communities that stood with me throughout my life. Just as many of us are here because of the communities that stood with us. I came here to study international law because I believed it was the way to do the most good for the most people, within and beyond my communities. That belief has certainly been tested in the last few years, as queer, Latin, immigrant, and so many other communities face persistent attack here and abroad, and as we observe flagrant violations of core principles of international law. Yet the heart of that belief remains true. The work we do with these degrees matters. As we graduate from Harvard Law School, we have the opportunity, and frankly the duty, to help people, to do good. I hope that as we see each other over the next 10 or 20 years, the stories we trade aren't about what was easiest or most comfortable, but about how we try to make our spaces and our communities, without whom we would not be here, stronger and safer than we found them. About how we grew into opportunities and challenges in trying to do the most good for the most people. That sense of responsibility is something we did not shoulder alone. I particularly want to recognize and celebrate our clinical instructors, whose tireless contributions to Harvard Law School's mission make our legal education meaningful, deep, and responsive to today's evolving legal realities. They taught us what it means to actually be lawyers, ensuring we feel seen and are challenged and supported to grow, all while working in constantly shifting legal landscapes. I'm deeply grateful for their tireless work and their devotion to the student body. I would be remiss not to highlight the contributions that we students have made to each other's education. Beyond the study groups, the shared outlines, and the encouragement after rough cold calls, Lord knows there were many, many of our classmates have also served as teaching fellows, and research assistants, as note takers and residence proctors, and in countless other roles that help keep this institution running. As student workers, we have helped make our collective education possible, and I want to thank and congratulate all of us here who have. And as a proud student worker all 3 years here, I hope and trust that Harvard University will honor that contribution and live by its values as this esteemed institution finishes its negotiations with the Graduate Students' Union. I would also like to recognize the faculty who devote that same time and effort to our growth and education. I am especially honored to present the Sachs-Freund Award for Teaching Excellence to this year's recipient, Professor Naz Madirzadeh. An alumna, a leading academic, and a critical advisor for diplomats and policymakers worldwide, she teaches public international law, the law of armed conflicts, and various courses on international lawyering and global South statecraft. Her work reminds us that the law we studied here travels far beyond this space, into the very places where we confront some of our hardest challenges. This award recognizes teaching ability, attentiveness to student concerns, and general contributions to student life, which Professor Madirzadeh exemplifies fully. Her students describe her as deeply engaging, an incredible professor who constantly challenges us to think more critically and push back. Professor Madirzadeh has fostered a community for students interested in international law, mentoring us through research, writing, and professional development. I am deeply grateful for the chance to learn from and work with her over the last 3 years, and I'm immensely grateful for her mentorship. Please join me in congratulating Professor Naz Madirzadeh. I would like to welcome Mary Boak to the stage at this time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Boak, and it is my privilege as Associate Dean for Academic Programs to celebrate this extraordinary class for both their academic excellence in the classroom and how they have put that theory into meaningful clinical practice. Harvard Law School's tradition of academic excellence is founded on a deep commitment to intellectual rigor, thoughtful inquiry, and the pursuit of justice through law. Across generations, our students have distinguished themselves through scholarship that not only reflects mastery of complex legal principles, but also a dedication to advancing critical dialogue and public understanding. The academic prizes awarded each year honor this enduring culture of excellence and recognize those students whose exceptional achievements exemplify the highest standards of the law school community. When I read your name, please stand. The Fay Diploma is awarded to the graduating JD candidate who by scholarship, conduct, and character has given evidence of the greatest promise and who graduates with the highest combined grade point average for 3 years of study in residence at Harvard Law School. Congratulations, Abigail Simon. The Sears Prize is awarded to Justin Curtis and Fabrice Guillot-Sionnet for receiving the highest grade point averages in the work of the first year JD year, and to Dina Kutab, Koi Ozayas, and Abigail Simon. Please all stand for receiving the highest grade point averages in the work of the second JD year. For the graduating JD students with the highest grade point averages in their final year, the Morgan and Helen Chu Prize goes to Kirsten Mettler and Justin Chu. Our LLM winner is Anushka Soni. Congratulations. Next, we honor a group of graduating students whose contributions to clinical and pro bono work beyond the classroom have been exceptionally extraordinary. The clinical and pro bono programs at Harvard Law School ground your legal education in responsibility to clients, to communities, and to the idea that the law is not an abstraction, but a lived system that can either exclude or protect, harm or heal. In clinics, you learn to sit with uncertainty. You learn that facts matter, that listening matters, and that the best legal strategy is often inseparable from humility, patience, and persistence. In pro bono work, you learn that even though you are not yet licensed, you can already make a meaningful difference as you learn to work as lawyers, collaboratively, ethically, and with care for the people who trust you with their stories. It is my great pleasure to present the Andrew L. Kaufman Pro Bono Award, honoring the graduating student who best exemplifies a deep commitment to public service and high-quality legal advocacy for disadvantaged communities, to Ben Guzman. Ben, throughout your time at HLS, you have dedicated more than 2,000 hours to pro bono work through the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau, the HLS Immigration Project, Project No One Leaves, and immigration advocacy organizations across the country. You helped vulnerable families secure stability, safety, and access to critical legal support with dignity, empathy, and care. As intake director at HLab and as a leader of the HLS Immigration Project, you strengthen systems that will continue serving clients long after your graduation. This included building new collaboration pathways between housing and immigration advocates to provide more holistic representation. What stands out most is how you show up for clients and your colleagues alike, with humility, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Congratulations. I am delighted to present the David Grossman Exemplary Clinical Student Award to Jet Watson. Jet, across 4 semesters in the Veterans Law and Disabilities Benefits Clinic, you have embodied the spirit of David Grossman through exceptional clinical advocacy, deep reflections, and meaningful contributions to the clinical community. You played a leading role in the Welcome Home bonus litigation, ensuring benefits to hundreds of Massachusetts post-9/11 veterans who were wrongfully denied the compensation they earned through their service. You drafted complex briefing, you appeared before the Superior Court, and you led negotiations with opposing counsel with the skill and judgment of a seasoned advocate. At the same time, you brought remarkable humanity to individual client representation. Whether helping a client secure an estate plan during a time of family and health crisis, or guiding a veteran through an anxiety-inducing disability hearing, you made your clients feel heard, respected, and empowered. Jet, your advocacy has changed lives, and it has left an indelible mark on this clinical community. Congratulations. Today, we honor Tabitha Escalante as the recipient of the Gantz Access to Justice Award. Tabitha, this recognition reflects not only the scale of your work, but the clarity of your purpose in advancing access to justice, racial equity, and criminal justice reform. Through Harvard Defenders and the Prison Legal Assistance Project, you dedicated yourself to client-centered advocacy in clerk magistrate hearings, record-sealing matters, and prison disciplinary proceedings. As executive director of both Defenders and PLAP, the first student to serve in both of these roles at the same time, you expanded access to legal support for hundreds of clients while mentoring your fellow students. In every space, clinics, SBOs, and summer public interest roles, you have demonstrated leadership in breaking down barriers to justice, not only by representing individual clients with true excellence, but by improving the systems through which that representation is delivered. Congratulations. I welcome Dean Monroe to the stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Monica Monroe, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Dean of Students and Associate Dean for Community Engagement, Equity, and Belonging. My office and I have the privilege of a front row seat watching all of you as you build community, connection, and chart your professional path to arrive at this moment as accomplished scholars and future leaders in law. Today, as we celebrate Class Day and look ahead to graduation, it is my honor to recognize some of the many ways you have contributed to our community, for which we are grateful. I'm delighted to present the Class Day Awards to members of the Harvard Law School class of 2026. When I read your name, please stand. I'm pleased to begin with presenting the Frank S. Righeimer Jr. Student Prize for Citizenship to James A. Morrison II. James, in your 6 semesters as a member of the Tenant Advocacy Project, first as a student attorney, then a committee chair, and finally president, you have acted as a mentor and leader for your fellow students and as an advocate for marginalized communities within Boston and Cambridge. As a teaching fellow, admissions fellow, and member of the Legal Services Center, you were consistently among the first to volunteer your time and energy to connect with and support prospective students, peers, and clients. Your genuine care for your community is the reason you are being recognized as an exceptional citizen today. While we are sad to see you go, we are eager to see what you will do next. As one nominator put it, quote, "While James's graduation will be a huge boon for society at large, it will be a huge loss for the Legal Services Center and HLS more generally," end quote. Next, we honor Jordan Hoogsteden as the recipient of the William J. Stuntz Memorial Award for Justice, Human Dignity, and Compassion. Jordan, during your time with Harvard Defenders and the Criminal Justice Institute, you have represented over 50 clients with persistence and compassion. As the case assignment director and then president of Harvard Defenders, you navigated one of the most significant increases in case volume in Defenders' history with grace. Amid this increase, you did not simply stay the course, but pushed for improvement, piloting a defense training series and developing new modes of representation in the Defenders' record sealing process. Jordan, you have had a profound impact on your clients, your peers, and your community, an impact that is sure to be felt long after your graduation. I will now present the David Westfall Memorial Award for Student Citizenship, which recognizes the student who has contributed to creating community within their first year section and class, to Felipe Lobo Corrich. Felipe, as an active member of Lambda, QTPOC, First Class, Alianza, the International Law Journal, Student Government, local Cambridge City Councils, and as a class marshal, you have been a constant positive force within our community. Your impact and work started early in your 1-all year as a member of your section's social committee. In an environment that can at times be overwhelming and competitive, you brought warmth and camaraderie. From large initiatives like planning a section talent show to small private moments of lending an ear or offering advice, your efforts have a lasting impact on your peers. As one section mate shared, quote, "When I think back to the memories that did manage to create that feeling of community and connectedness, I think of Felipe," end quote. Our next award is the Yvonne L. Smith Award, which recognizes outstanding contributions to mentoring, advising, and supporting other HLS students. I am delighted to present this award to Zane Harris Daniels. Zane, as a transfer student, your time at HLS has been shorter than some of your JD peers, but you would not know this from the depth of your impact. As the co-president of Section 8, you have worked tirelessly to create a community and a space for your fellow transfer students. You always supported your section mates. Working with the admissions office, you built strong connections with prospective transfer students, hosting webinars, answering questions, and organizing meetups. Before they ever stepped foot on campus, you welcomed new members into the community with open arms. Finally, I am pleased to award the Dean's Awards for Community Leadership, which recognizes graduating students who contribute time and energy to making the HLS community a better place. I ask that you please remain standing and the audience to hold your applause until the end. Today, we honor Christopher Egge for your outstanding work as co-president of student government and citizenship in organizations such as Harvard Defenders, the Harvard Black Law Students Association, the Youth Advocacy and Policy Fellows, and the JD MBA Students Association. Priscilla Hirshheimer, for your commitment to fostering connections and building bridges between LLM and JD students and dedication to the Brazilian legal community. Gertharin Johal, for your dedication to building community within First Class, SALSA, the Journal of Sports and Entertainment Law, Parity, and the Sports Law Clinic, and many other organizations, journals, and clinics. Joshua Lilly, for your compassion and dedication to your clients and community through the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau, Project No One Leaves, and the Public Interest Law Collective. Shani Markovitz K. For your substantial work in building relationships across student groups and fostering dialogue across differences, and your leadership of the Alliance for Israel and Jewish Law Students Association. Ronan McGurran, for your efforts in building community and camaraderie among the LLM class, proactive collaboration with the graduate program, and a dedication as a class marshal. Jenny Pidge, for your commitment to work as a public interest lawyer and dedication to advocating for vulnerable communities through the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau, Project No One Leaves, and the Prison Legal Assistance Project. Salahuddin Najib Satori, for your devotion to building bridges across students and projects through your work in student government as co-president, the Muslim Law Student Association, the International Human Rights Clinic, and the Middle Eastern and North African Student Association. Catherine Eris St. Hilaire, for your mentorship and support of the 1L class and Board of Student Advisors community during your tenure as president of the Board of Student Advisors. Omar Sayed Tariq, for your outstanding leadership in interfaith and bridge-building efforts and dedication to your role as president of the Muslim Law Students Association. Raja Ukandwa, for your commitment to creating community amongst and safe spaces for LGBTQ+ students at HLS, and your citizenship as a member of Lambda and the Black Law Students Association. And Casey Yarborough, for your devotion to building community and spreading positivity through your involvement in the Board of Student Advisors, Prison Legal Assistance Project, and countless intramural sports leagues. Congratulations. I now welcome to the podium inaugural winner of the Dean's Community Impact Award, Patrick Healy.
A few weeks ago, I told a friend that the only thing that could go wrong today was bad weather. Like many times in the past 3 years, I was wrong, but has also happened over the past 3 years. I've been buoyed by the understanding of my classmates and the hope that inflexibility will eventually yield to reason. Mayor Wu is extremely disappointed that she cannot share her story with us today. The ray of light in all this is that this revised Class Day ceremony is accidentally an accurate, if unfortunate, reflection of the challenges we've faced. For the families of graduates, now you can get a taste of what your graduate has experienced. Since our first semester, our time here has been affected by external events, internal disputes, and changing plans. Each of us, no matter when we arrived here, has overcome these obstacles to be here today. I'm sorry I could not prevent this one, but I know that, as we have for years, we will face it together. After all, we're trained to solve disputes, and we must be prepared for our longer journey of lives in the law. Providentially, I was put in such a reflective mood when, on Saturday, a tourist in Harvard Yard asked me what program I am in. When I told her that I am an HLS student, she said, "Oh, well, you'll always have a job." Though I came pretty close to disproving that, that's probably true. But it made me think, is that all this degree means? I want to live in a world where everyone has that guarantee. That's not to say everyone should become lawyers. Sorry, Dean Goldberg, but it'd be negligent for me to wish 1L torts on anyone. But as many of us have already done in clinics, we can help ensure that workers get their due, immigrants are treated fairly, prisoners live with dignity, tenants have steady shelter. And as graduates of Harvard Law School, we can help ensure that everyone might focus not on scraping by, but on contributing in their own way to the common good, without that contribution being constrained to careers or dependent on a degree or confined to the coasts. Since this is not the world we live in, this will also require change. Some changes, like technology, are inevitable, and as we like to urge aging leaders, we should not resist them simply because they might jeopardize our own importance in society. Other changes, those which will actively orient us towards a better world, we must make in ourselves. To listen instead of preventing others from speaking. To increase our patience for setbacks on the path of progress, and to wonder not how things will appear on social media, but to march to the beat of our own drums. I've learned here that we can make all those changes and more if we risk something of ourselves, our convenience, our compensation, our comfort. If we, secure in our salary and status, do not allow ourselves to be changed by our experiences and our opponents, then we cannot expect to change them. We learned in the classroom about how the law provides judgments and enforces remedies, but above all else, the law has taught me to question before coercing, to interrogate my own beliefs, inquire about others' needs, and ask for grace when I fail. So yes, we will always have jobs, many of us well-paid ones. But along with our salaried position, we also have another job, a new mission, to risk something of ourselves to change this world, so that those desperate for a chance to contribute might join us as we do today in celebrating their own achievements. It is the possibility that we might, as lawyers, help build this new world, which leads me to say, congratulations, friends, on graduation and on our new jobs. It's now my deep pleasure to introduce my friend, Irishman and class marshal, Roden McGurran.
Thank you very much, Pat, and thank you to everybody who has joined us for today's Class Day celebrations. My name is Ronan McGurran, and I'm an Irish student in the LLM program. Now, normally it's quite difficult for an Irishman to announce closing time. But if I may be quite frank with you, it is pretty darn hot, isn't it? It is, of course, my great honor to bring our Class Day ceremony to a close and to invite you all to join our reception over at the courtyard once we conclude. It was President Kennedy's speechwriter, Ted Sorensen, who said that a good speech should have 4 pillars: brevity, levity, charity, and clarity. Now, the law school was admirably clear with us students from the beginning that our remarks actually had to be delivered within pretty strict time limits, so that was the brevity part taken care of immediately. This does mean, alas, I cannot share with you the set of lengthy and meandering lawyer jokes I had been preparing over the past several months. And although I may consider this a tremendous personal blow for levity, I do concede that it is a win for you, the audience. So no matter, I will recover. Continuing. To all of our families, friends, and guests who have joined us today, please let me say clearly that we would never have made it here without you. Thank you for your advice, your support, and your love. Thank you for your patience when we were stressed, as well as when we were still stressed but pretended not to be. Next, to Remy the Harvard cat and Sasha the Harvard dog, I say to you both, never let society change who you are. To Felipe's rooftop bar, I say to you, may you expand beyond your wildest dreams. I say this quite seriously, you are too small, please expand. And to all of my fellow international students here today, let us never forget that we have made it through this fantastic year despite considerable odds in getting here in the first place. Be joyful, be grateful, be proud of being here today. The Harvard experience is made so much richer through you. Thank you for your camaraderie this past year, and please take a moment to give yourselves a round of applause. Congratulations. To all of my American classmates, to all of the Harvard Law School faculty and staff, thank you for welcoming all of us international students to this campus. Thank you for sharing your friendship, your expertise, and your incredible country with us. Thank you also for patiently attempting to explain to me the rules of baseball. It did not work, but I appreciate your heroic efforts. Please also give yourselves a round of applause. And lastly, to the entire Harvard Law School class of 2026, congratulations on graduating from the most renowned law school in the world. We have a saying in Irish, Ganairi an bóthar live, may the road rise to meet you. And in that vein, please allow me to wish you tremendous happiness and success in the years to come, and have a wonderful commencement. Congratulations.